Today, let's break down Paul Skenes' pitching mechanics. Obviously, an elite level thrower. Let's watch it in full speed real quick, and then we'll kind of get into the breakdown, right? I mean, the main thing that Paul Skenes does really well, right, is he controls his center of mass, okay? He controls his pelvis, his trunk, his shoulders really well. And so the distal structures actually matter a little bit less, like what's going on with his feet and his hands and all that, not near as important. So first thing, as we kind of approach peak leg lift, which is right about here, you'll notice how his trunk or his spine is kind of curved and he's kind of over himself. We see that? All right. Next thing you'll notice is kind of this pelvis right here, right? Notice how it's tucked, rib cage is down, right? If we had another view, we'd be able to see that a little bit better, okay? Looking at his foot positioning, okay, he's kind of flush with the rubber, right? He's gonna hold ER as he kind of moves down the mound. And with this high leg lift, I mean, look at how high his knee's getting right here. One thing that a lot of guys will have the tendency to do is lean back like this. He does a really good job of staying over himself, staying stacked right here. So as we kind of move down the mound here, what we're gonna see is, right, he's able to still capture this back leg, even though he's already started kind of drifting. So what we're gonna look at right here is, okay, where's this, right? Sitting back, right? But he's also moving forward, which is good. You'll notice down here at the foot, notice how he's kind of on the inside of the foot now, but he's still holding this knee back, okay? Another thing I want you to notice is, all right, where's his head? He's looking at the target, right? While holding counter rotation here. So you'll see that if we were to draw a line from his chest where it's going, it's out between second and third base, right? Okay, so now as we continue to move down the mound, there's gonna be some interesting things that we see. All right, one thing being, he's still holding this hinge, right? Let's look at this shin right here. Still relatively vertical, okay? Look at this glove side and shoulder line. Very counter-rotated, okay? Very rotational pitcher. We're gonna continue to move down the mound. Oh, I jumped too far. And kind of as he approaches weight-bearing front foot strike, which is around here, you'll notice that his back foot is still on the ground, but his pelvis is starting to open. We can kind of start to see the front of this belt, but look at where his chest is facing, over towards third, right? But the hips are facing closer to home. That's what we want to see. That's that separation that we're looking for. And look at the ball, look at his arm, right up here, okay? Still behind head. This is really good scap retraction, okay? This is what we call the pec stretch right here on the front side. Don't know if you can see it or not, probably not because I can't see it, but pec stretched right there. Look at the head still stacked, okay? Head, pelvis, and spine is all stacked. So you got the head, spine, pelvis, all on top of one another, okay? And he still hasn't gotten this heel, he's gotten the heel off, but he still hasn't gotten this toe completely turned. But although the tibia is probably still facing somewhere over here, right? The femur, which is this right here, is facing this way, which is what's important. Skenes is a crossfire guy. All right, he rotates a little better when he's rotating a little bit across the body. He's found that works for him. Okay, and now he's just gonna pull this trunk, right? He's thinking, can I pull this trunk over here and start rotating? Well, really, more like this. And that's what you're gonna see. See how the arms stays behind, the ball's still up here, even though his chest is starting to face towards home, right? That's what we wanna see. Basically, throughout the chain, you just constantly wanna see, all right, pelvis goes, spine still, trunk still facing third. Trunk goes, arm still back. All right, arm's gonna go now. So you'll see that. And watch this. This is peak layback, right? Good thoracic extension, okay? Chest facing forward, right? This front hip is starting to pull back. This back hip is starting to rotate into that front hip. And what you're gonna see with this arm, the ball's right here, should whip out somewhere around here. And it does, right? Comes out right about here. Now watch this, this is so cool. Completely in line with shoulders, all right? Lower slot guy, all right? The only thing that changes for a higher slot guy is their shoulder line is gonna be like this, okay? The arm is still going to be technically sidearm, okay? But the shoulder line via this trunk, see how he's like this? Some people's trunks might be more like this. That's gonna create that higher slot. Now you're gonna notice, all right, what's gonna happen. He kind of gets linear for a split second so that he can be directional with the baseball, and the baseball can actually, go where he wants it to in the zone. But he's staying chest up, right? His chest is still tall, okay, right here. He's not getting into too much, like chest isn't getting parallel to the ground or anything like that because he's very rotational. He's actually just going to rotate over here as we move forward in the throw. 3, 2, 1, and you'll see that right there. Chest stays relatively tall, and now he's facing in this direction. Okay. Another thing of importance, watch this back leg. Okay, this hip flexor right here stays long, and then when it runs out of room, just rotates up and over. Okay, very good move. And then obviously he's gonna recoil, and his arm is eventually gonna go back up in a good decel pattern, okay? Notice how his head has stayed, still looking at the target, all right? Another thing we can look at with Paul, how's he landing? You can tell that's landing right about there. Okay, he's landing flat even though you can't fully see it down here. He's landing flat, all right? And this is really the key, okay? If we even backed it up before he's flipped up, look at this. This tension right here that he's able to create through this pec stretch and this scap load. It's super key. And he stays relatively short, right? Elbow flexion here, elbow flexion here. Just allows him to focus on these proximal structures rather than getting too far away from his center. He prefers to keep things in tight. And that's part of why he's able to control the ball so well, and it's part of why he's able to move his spine so well, because I think that's his focus. I seriously doubt he feels that. I guarantee right now he's feeling that. He's feeling this. So, that's some things. Hopefully we got something out of that. All right, that's some things I look at when I look at Paul Skenes' delivery. Obviously, an elite mover and an elite pitcher. All right. Has very healthy patterns, very high-level patterns, very efficient patterns, and timely patterns that allow him to really be consistently in zone. Thanks for listening, and I'll be putting out more content soon.